Hello everyone, this is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today our guest is Levi Batchelor, who will be making his pro debut on Samurai Fighting Championship number 4. Hello Levi, how are you?
I'm great, thank you, mate. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. We are just few days away from your pro debut. So if you can tell me, how do you feel before this bout?
I feel fantastic, to be honest. It's probably one of the best I've ever felt going into a fight. I've had a big preparation for this camp. I spent the first 3 months of this year over in Thailand. Um, sort of just training, getting better. Not particularly in a fight camp, but just trying to improve in all my different areas. And I then came back and finished up camp in Wales. But Um, yeah, I feel fantastic. Like I say, I feel very fit. My weight is looking very good, and I'm really excited to sort of take this next step and make my professional debut. It's exciting times, definitely.
And what do you think about your opponent?
So my opponent, he's obviously it's a short notice opponent, so I haven't really found too much on him. Um, I've had quite a few names given to me over the past few weeks. I had quite a solid matchup for quite a long time. And then within the last 2 weeks, he pulled out. And then I've had numerous different names given to me. So it's like, oh, you get given one name, you start looking them up, and then it's like, oh, they're out of the fight. And then it's like you find somebody else, and you're like, oh, they're out of the fight. So yeah, I haven't really taken too much time to sort of look into who I'm fighting and things like that. But I'm just working on myself, making sure that I'm fit, making sure that my weight is spot on, and yeah, just look forward to getting in there and do what I do best.
Sometimes it might be hard to like find an opponent for you because at the first like look you are 0-0 guy, but if you like check your topology, you are like one of the best fighters on the amateur scene in Great Britain or even in Europe. So maybe there sometimes the
Exactly.
opponents like oh maybe not this guy.
Yeah, definitely. I fought opponents from all over Europe as an amateur, and that was simply because I couldn't get fights in the UK. And these guys were accepting fights. Um, but even we were struggling towards the end to even get international opponents as well. It's been very difficult for me to get opponents. And I was hoping that obviously making my professional debut, this was going to be a lot easier. There's obviously a much wider variety of fighters out there um, that have the title professional, you know. So you expect people to be really game, turn up, looking to win, and people will be jumping at the opportunity to sort of take me out and take a prospect out early on in their career. But unfortunately, that hasn't been the case. Um, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I'm looking forward to this fight next Saturday. I'm looking forward to a good start to the rest of the year, and really going to keep the ball rolling then.
And did you feel that is like perfect moment for you to go pro?
100%. I don't think there's really a better time for me to go professional. I've been about as an amateur. I've done um I've won two different regional titles. I won the Four Nations Championships as an amateur. The only thing that I didn't participate in was the IMAF, and I was actually scheduled to go twice, and for both times it was their fault that the event fell through rather than my own pullout. The first time was COVID, and the second time was some other different reason. But um, yeah, I've always been really excited to test myself against the best amateurs out there. Um, you only got to look at my record, and I've beaten some good boys, and they've gone on to win their own titles or were already holding their own titles before I fought them. And yes, that excites me. It makes me work a lot harder when you've got a tougher opponent in front of you. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting in the pro ranks and testing myself against these guys now, because I've been there and I've done it as an amateur. And to be honest, I think that my opposition as I got towards the end of my amateurs, they're going to be just as good or even better than some of these lower level pros on the regional scene. So until I look to go on to other big promotions such as Cage Warriors, um, I'm just going to be looking forward to testing myself every time.
And do you think that that this will be a path for you to go to the UFC, like start here, go to Cage Warriors, and then go to the UFC?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think obviously the actual getting to the UFC part is tough, but I've got the perfect route for it. We've got a excellent gym in Wales where we've got all current UFC fighters that are actively fighting in the UFC out of our gym, and it's a great place to be. They've got the blueprint. They've always gone through Cage Warriors and built themselves up, fought for a title, and then gone on to sign to the UFC. That has always been the way we've done it. We've also just had Oban Elliott, who is open at the door to the Contender Series. So that's another exciting opportunity for people like myself and a few of the other amateurs that are on the verge of going pro, and some of the earlier pros. That the Contender Series may be an option in a few years' time. But I think the Cage Warriors route, personally, for me, is the route that I would like to take. And yeah, it definitely excites me. Yeah, the difference between actually turning pro now, I'm looking at, I'm watching events, and I'm actually looking at the bantamweight fights, and I'm not watching them to sort of enjoy them anymore. I'm watching them as potential opponents, and there's definitely a lot of people in there that I think I'm picking holes in their game, and in due time that I could go in there and beat them myself. So I don't think jumping in the deep end too quickly, you know.
And actually, the bantamweight division, probably in like all of the promotions, is the deepest weight division, because there are so many talents there. There are like super quick, super skillful. It's not like a heavyweight division that their like skill level may be a little bit lower, but there are
Yeah,
some monsters there definitely.
100%. There's some great boys. But I'm training with some of the best bantamweights, featherweights, flyweights and lightweights. Like every one of those weights. Um, if you're any of those weights, and you want to be somewhere good and have good training partners, and prepare properly for the highest of levels, then Shaw Mixed Martial Arts is one of the best gyms in the UK to be at, and I'm absolutely blessed to have it on my doorstep. We've got Jack Shaw competing this weekend on UFC 301. We've got Brett Johns, who's currently taking part in the PFL $1 million tournament. You're not getting better training partners than these, and especially at similar weights. You really can't ask for more.
And you also won a featherweight title in Cage Warriors Wales Academy. And do you think that in maybe next 3 or 4 years you will go to the featherweight for like longer period of time?
Potentially, I think so. I'm only young, 22 years old, so I've potentially got a little bit of growth left. Um, by the time I sort of hit 25, 26, we will see how that goes. I know a lot of amateur promotions around Europe, they do day before weigh-ins for the amateurs, which isn't this it's not the case for a lot of the Welsh shows. So we do same day weigh-ins, which bantamweight was obviously too big of a cut as I was starting to grow. And then I made the step to featherweight full time. Obviously, I was making that pretty comfortably on a same day weigh-in. So now I look to go back to bantamweight as a professional, where I get the day before weigh-in, and you can manipulate your fight week a little bit differently. Um, but yeah, featherweight is something that I'm not sort of crossing out completely. Maybe in a certain time period, I may step in on short notice. You never know. And it would just be a lot more comfortable for me to make featherweight on a shorter notice. You never know what opportunities are going to arise. Sometimes it's just the right place at the right time, and yeah, it's definitely a potential option for me to be at featherweight. But for now, yeah, I'm looking to have a good career as a bantamweight.
When did you did you think about like becoming a MMA fighter? How like old were you at that point?
So I was 16 when I started, just on the verge of turning 17. So I've been at the sport for around about 6 years, um, which for some people is quite a fast rise, especially during that time we had obviously around 18 months to 2 years of COVID as well, which put a stop to competition. So I think if that never happened, I'd be a much more experienced amateur. Um, However, on the other end of the stick, you've got it gave me that time to sort of develop um into a young adult, and it's got me where I am today. If COVID and every other scenario never happened, I wouldn't be where I am today. So, I'm grateful for where I am, and I think I'm in the best place I can be, and I think it's the perfect time for me to turn professional.
And the shore mixed martial arts was the like first gym that you ever trained, or did you have like previous experience with other gyms?
Shore mixed martial arts was where I started. Yeah, it was formerly known as Tulare Combat, and they then rebranded, moved gyms. We've got a much bigger facility now, state of the art facility in Wales. Um, yeah, I was doing a little bit of one-to-one sessions with another professional fighter, Lou Long, who was competing in Bellator. That was for around my first 3 months of training, something like that. I was just doing once a week with him, and then on the sidelines, then I was doing my jiu-jitsu and my wrestling at Shaw Mixed Martial Arts. And then it came a point then where I just joined Tulare Combat full time, and I've been representing them ever since. Um, and I'm grateful that I made that decision. I think I'm probably in the best place that I could be as a young developing MMA fighter in Wales. I don't think there's really a better place to be.
And when you decided to go to the Thailand a little bit before, did you think about like any gyms on the other continents, like in let's say US, or were you like focused on going to the Thailand?
Yeah, so I was looking at I was thinking about somewhere in America first. Obviously that is like the first idea that goes into people's heads when it goes to like traveling. Um, but I had some connections with my nutritionist, the fight dietitian, who put me on to George Hickman, who is the owner of Bangtan Muay Thai and MMA. Um, from there, I decided to go there. I met the other guys, Frank Hickman, George's brother, Alex Shield, we got Coach Woody. There's so many coaches there, all world class guys. I went there the first time in January 2023. I originally planned to stay for a month. I ended up extending for an extra 2 weeks, which was my maximum without a visa. I came back and fought, and then decided to go back again with an extended visa. Spent 3 months there. Um, I think it's a brilliant place for young athletes to go, experience what it's like to travel, stay by yourself, or wherever you travel with people. You'll meet people there. You've got it's the gym is full of Europeans mainly, and lots of Australians, but people from all over. And once you start to get to know people, you sort of find out who they are, and obviously I've won regional titles, but then you've got guys that have won them in their own countries. They're number one in in their own countries, and you get to train and spar with these people, and it's a really good learning curve, being out there and just testing yourself against guys that are potential opponents, or just people of similar weights. And yeah, if anybody can sort of go, I would definitely recommend it. I think it's a great experience, and I think you can only sort of grow from that type of experience. So yeah, super grateful to have found Bang Time Muay Thai and MMA. I look at going again at some point, and yeah, it's a fantastic place to be.
I think that Thailand is they have many great gyms, and like you said, there are so many so many like different fighters from different areas of the world. So it's like the mix of everything.
Definitely.
And how did your like normal day look like in Thailand? How many times did you train a day?
So I was training between 2 and 4 sessions per day. I was doing 2 sessions on the heavy sparring days, just to sort of make sure that my body is not too broken, and I'm fresh going into those sparring days. And then other days I would hit like strength and conditioning in between, and go for a run and things like that. But I think it's very difficult sometimes to try and fit everything in. It's a different schedule over here where we've got obviously our main coaches have full-time jobs as well. So they'll run a session in the morning and then one session in the evening. But over there they have sessions more or less every hour of the day. So if you go there and you plan on trying to do everything, you're gonna burn out very quickly. So you need to sort of make a plan and schedule your week on what you're gonna do. So I think it's definitely smart on those heavier days just to sort of drop it down, maybe do 2 sessions, and then on some of the lighter days you can bring it up, do 3, 4. Um, yeah, and I think that really helps you not burn out too quickly.
And for you, what is like the toughest part of the training? What area is like the toughest for you to train?
For me personally, it's always wrestling. Wrestling is the hardest sport that you will do, or the hardest discipline you will do in MMA, in my opinion. Um, that is my preferred style, is being a wrestler grappler. Um, it's probably what I'm sort of best at, but it's also the most physically demanding. It's a very tough sport. Um, And I think that it's fantastic. Like if you can just keep taking people down, and they get up and you can take them down again. That's very, very tiring for somebody. And across 3 rounds, if you've got the fitness to do it, it's just going to win you fights every time. So for me, wrestling is up there as one of the top disciplines that you can do.
And actually, it is in like highest level of MMA that the guy who is able to take somebody down is like usually the fighter who will win. Of course, not like holding opponent down, but like going for the submission, like looking for a ground and pound. If you can take your opponent down, it's a big chance that you will win the fight.
100%. It's also it's a developing sport as well. So as much as people are great wrestlers, people are also great jiu-jitsu guys and great strikers. And if you can put it all together, it's much better. You talk about ground and pound or going for submissions. Some of these guys, they go in there with great jiu-jitsu background, but then they've got no wrestling, so they can't take it to the mat. Or they've got great striking, but they've got no wrestling, so they can't keep it on the feet. So I think that wrestling is definitely one of the best disciplines to have.
And do you have a like fighter in mind that you would like to face, even like in a dream fight scenario? The fighter from either bantamweight or featherweight division?
Um, right now, no, I don't really have any names in particular. I look at some of these guys that are in the UFC in the top 15 and the champion, for example, Sean O'Malley. I think I look at him as a sort of idol, I suppose. Like he's where I want to be. Um, but I think as the years go on, um, those types of guys are going to be becoming more potential opponents and things like that. So I think, like I was saying earlier about me watching like the Cage Warriors level fights of bantamweights, I think, within a year or two, I'm going to start looking at the UFC fights differently and trying to see if how I would deal with them. Um, so yeah, I don't have any names in particular, but yeah, I'd love to sort of reach that level and be there one day. But until then, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. And yeah, you'll definitely see me in the UFC one day.
Do you have a fighter in the UFC that you like watching the most, either like from your division or even higher or lower?
Um, Obviously a biased opinion. I've got all the guys from my gym. Always love watching these guys. We got Jack Shaw on UFC 301 this weekend, taking on a tough Brazilian in Brazil. And then we got Oban Elliott who just had his debut on a big pay-per-view card. So I always like watching those boys. Um, Probably one of my favorite athletes of all time is Alex Volkanovski. I think just his sort of his discipline to the sport and the people that he's beat and the way he approaches fights and the professionalism of Alex. I think he's a great role model to look up to. Um, I did manage to meet Alex when I was in Thailand for the first time. I had a brief conversation with him, and he's such a down to earth, humble guy as well. And I think I'd like to achieve the same. I suppose like he's very family orientated, and um, as much as he's great at the sport, he's still a good man to himself. Some people sort of lose themselves along the way, but I think he's quite humble and he's not scared to be around, all your fans and the people that want to speak to him and take photos and things. So for me, that goes to everything that an athlete should be. So he's definitely one of the top on my list of favorite fighters.
And he did so many great things in the featherweight division. And last year, when he went to the lightweight division and was close to defeat Islam, I think that many people just saw at that moment how good he really is.
Definitely, I was watching the preparations for the first Islam fight, and he's a beast. He was training with some really, really high level wrestlers, and he was doing very well. And I think people underestimate him quite a bit sometimes. Um, but yeah, great fighter.
And for you, what is like from your perspective, what is the best thing about being a MMA fighter?
For me, it's just it's a lifestyle for me. It's my life. So I get up. I'm able to just go to the gym and train and get physically better, mentally stronger. You've got your discipline with your training and your diet. Um, just lots of different developing skills as you sort of look to grow up. Then you can become a lot more mature, I find. Um, but then you've also got the highs of the sport. You've got all your supporters, um, which is great. They get to come and watch you, and the actual fight itself is such a surreal experience when you've got all these people cheering for you and wanting you to do well. That's one of the better things then of the sport is just that feeling that you get when you're walking out and you've just got all these people sort of wanting you to do well. So I'm forever grateful for all my supporters. But then the highs always come with lows as well. So there are those, but I think the positives always weigh out the negatives. And I would definitely recommend anybody, even if you want to just try jujitsu or Muay Thai or just any combat sport in general, just to give it a go because for me personally, it's changed my life.
And you fought against like many very good amateurs, amateur fighter. Right now, you will have your pro debut. And how do you deal with this stress? Like a few hours before your bouts, do you feel like any additional nerves because of the knowledge that you will be in the cage soon?
Yes, I do. Occasionally, I'm very very relaxed on fight day. Um, I'm not too, you see some of these guys that are like sort of pacing around and can't sit still, and they maybe just they can't stop their brain. But I like to just sort of sit, chill, be very very calm, and then I'll work myself up then around about an hour and a half before the fight. I think you're just sort of wasting your energy worrying about something that you shouldn't really need to worry about. I think mentally it's a very tough sport, but if you can control your feelings, and you're confident in your own abilities, I think that definitely helps. And you know, of course, everybody gets nerves, but if you can learn to deal with them, then you're going to be another beast because you can be as good as you want, but if you haven't got a mental strength, then you're not going to make it anywhere. This sport will break you.
There are like sometimes there are stories that there are some fighters that are great in the gyms, but when there is a like fight, there are a lot of fans that something is not going well and the results are not really good. So I think in your case it's like a different thing because your results speaks for themselves.
Yeah, listen, I lose majority of my rounds in the gym. I will lose. I'm against some of the best guys in the world, day in day out, and I come from the gym some days absolutely broken because, um, I've just spent sort of 4 or 5 rounds out of like 5 or 6 rounds, on my back or just being submitted or TKO'd or you know something along these lines, and then you look at the level of people that you're training with, and and then I jump in there with somebody of my own skill level, and you can just see the difference straight away because that experience from training with people that are so much better than you in the gym, you take your losses in the gym. Our gym isn't a place for ego. I know that's the same for a lot of other people, but if you're always being the hammer in the gym, you're not getting better. And I think if you're the best guy in the gym and you've got aspirations of going on to do better things, then I don't think you will achieve it because you need people to be better than you to be better yourself. And I think there's plenty of talent on our mats that push me every single day. And I win when it matters. I win in my fights, and the gym is the place to lose. It's where you learn. So I don't think it's a bad thing at all.
And outside of fighting, let's say that there is after your fight, and you have more like free time. What kind of hobby do you have, or how do you like spend your day?
Um, to be honest, like I don't really have many other hobbies. I just like, my day-to-day life consists of just, training and, I'll chill. Maybe I'll go out and do something. Um, the only difference is really with being out of camp is maybe I could um meet up and go for some food or something like that in the day and just go out with your mates in the evening and things like that. But to be honest, my life just consists of being in the gym. I'm I'm more or less in camp all year round. There's no real break for me. Um, it's been nice sort of having obviously Thailand and things like that sort of break up the competition aspect of my year. But at the same time, that's not me having 3 months rest period where I'm not doing anything. I'm still there developing my game and just getting better. So for me, um, this is what I do. This is what I want to do, and yeah, I just stay in the gym, stay ready.
I have two last questions that are outside of fighting. One is if you can share one dream that you have, but it's outside of fighting, outside of you being a MMA fighter.
Um, just being successful, being happy in life. I want to look back on this sport and say that even if I don't achieve what I want to achieve in the sport, that I gave it a go. I never want to look back and think that, oh, I could have done this, could have done that. So I think as long as I can and sort of get through life and be happy about the things that I've achieved and given and tried and given a go, then that's the biggest dream that you can have. I think outside of fighting. Um, obviously people like to think about maybe settling down, having a family and things like that. So I'd like to think in a few years' time, then that would be the case as well. But um, yeah, as long as I'm happy, then that's the best thing.
And like you said, I think that the like regrets are the worst thing. So if you try something, it's good either way. Either you will be successful
Definitely,
or not. You can like say that you can say that you tried.
100%. It's a young man's sport or young woman's sport. You don't you're not able to do this sport or at least even start it really like your mid to late 20s. You're probably pushing and actually achieving anything. So I think um going balls to the wall now as a young athlete, being able to train consistently, and I think I've really got the best chance of actually achieving something from the sport. And if it never works out, then I can't say I didn't try because I put everything into it.
And on the end of the conversation, last question: if you can have one superpower, what kind of superpower would you like to have? It can be anything.
I don't know, maybe teleportation or maybe like mind control or something like that. Would be quite cool. But yeah,
Teleportation may be the most useful thing because you can teleport to like
definitely
to Thailand.
definitely get rid of all that traveling time. You know, it's not the easiest, but yeah, the big help.
Okay, Levi, so many thanks for the conversation. I hope that you will win your next fight and in at the end of the year you will be like 3-4 and oh like being one of the best because you were one of the best prospect as the amateur, but I hope that you will be in a few months one of the like guy that many people would like, oh, he will be a future champion in either Cage Warriors or even like another organization.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Definitely thank you for having the time to have me on, and look forward to speaking to you again.